Provisor's a fire hydrant. Kevin Radford, a guy who kind of has been, up and down for the last couple of years, more so up lately with his win at Nationals and his finals appearance here. A guy who has a lot of potential against a guy who's a two-time Olympian and kind of a proven track record on the Greco circuit here.
Yeah, and I think he's really turned the corner as far as being a consistent player at this weight class.
And Provisor just goes horsepower and pushes him out. Almost straight arm push, but I believe he was already out by the time he kind of finished it off there. But this a 1 versus 2.
That's a meme waiting to happen.
That's an old school Greco thing where they're going to give you one hard club. And that's exactly what Provisor did. But this is 1 versus 2. Provisor the 2 seed because he got upset by Kimba Johnson at the Open at Senior Nationals. And then Radford beat Johnson. Provisor didn't get to wrestle Kimba. Radford beat Kimba Johnson in the semis. So Provisor now trying to reinsert himself on top of the ladder here at 85 kilos. And again, the horsepower and foot movement of Provisor to get Radford towards the edge, but good fight back from Radford.
That's one thing Provisor does extremely well is drive forward with those legs and control the center of the mat and control the positioning. He's really hard to find an opening on. And you'll see a lot of his matches are lower scoring matches because he controls the positioning so well and just limits the opponent's offense.
Mm-hmm. And one thing, that's tough about doing commentaries, you kind of miss doing the interviews. And one thing I wanted to ask him about, he's doing a lot of interesting stuff with snaps. You just saw right there one of them. He's been doing a lot of interesting, like a couple different kind of snaps today, a couple different ways of doing them. I wanted to get in his ear and ask him, what he was working on, because I don't remember him doing, I remember him kind of doing that in Vegas, but he seems to kind of opened up the repertoire a little bit today. As we are under 1:15 now in this first period. And
this is really where Provisor lives. He charges in, he'll club the head, pull you down, go to a 2-on-1, pressure you. The key to his game, step outs and get in a front headlock.
Mm-hmm.
He'll get an underhook as well, but you see he keeps everything pretty chest to chest and keeps everything tight.
And Provisor a 2-0 lead now with Radford's second passivity. This is kind of the Radford I'm more used to seeing, maybe kind of regressing back to the mean a little bit against a guy like Provisor, but it's really scary when you're seeing a guy with the potential like Radford that he is now in a position where he's making the finals of these events. And he was able to come back against Johnson. He was down 3-0, ended up winning 8-4. So it's not as though he is unfamiliar with comeback situation, but Johnson and Provisor are kind of different wrestlers, as we got a passive on Provisor a few seconds ago.
Yeah, and this is vintage Ben Provisor positioning. Underhook right side, collar tie left side. He's blocking with that left collar tie on the chest to prevent anything coming in. So you're not going to get the hook from Radford on the right side with that position. So he's in complete control, dominant Greco position there. It might not look like it. Might look like a 50-50 position at home, but that was all Provisor in the first period, not even close.
Mm-hmm. And Radford, he's got a couple different tricks up his sleeve as far as, how he might be able to come back. But he's not going to be able to do any of them if he's allowing Provisor to take ground like that. And like you were saying, not just the underhook. You saw the hard, bang slap on the underhook, but then that left side collar tie that you were mentioning. Got to be able to clear those elbows, man. Yeah.
Here's the thing for Radford. You either got to have an open position attack, high dive, duck, something like that. Get the head down with a front headlock. Or you got to have a circular attack. You got to get an angle and get Provisor off balance. Use that forward pressure against him. I will say the one thing is it's very hard to do that against Provisor because he takes short steps, choppy steps. He doesn't put himself in an overly aggressive forward position, even though he's always coming forward.
Right. His forward motion is gradual instead of kind of take ground with, he takes ground with 12 steps instead of 6 steps.
Right.
And, it's not like he did bad at the Olympics. He was close with Asakalov till the end of that match. Asakalov, who, pinned his way into the finals a couple years ago. And Radford, tightrope walking on the edge there to prevent from going down 3-0.
Again, you're seeing it. Short, choppy steps. Short, choppy steps. It's like he's pushing a sled, like a football player. Offensive lineman.
But like you were saying with the outside attack is we're going to get a passive offered against blue. It is going to be confirmed. So 1 point red, first point for Radford.
And this is where Provisor gets in trouble. He's controlled the match for 4.5 minutes, and it's a 1 point match.
Right.
So all it takes is one move. I mean, that's where it gets tricky when you play this style. You got to have an offensive attack that gets you a takedown.
And his Provisor gets a step out here. And I talked about the Kimba Johnson comeback. Radford, to get to those finals, he beat John Anderson, who's been in a couple World Team Trials finals of his own. And that one was a comeback. That one was very controversial. I know the WCAP coaches were definitely not happy with that one. But you see it now, and they actually went 2 there instead of just 1. Looks like they did call a takedown.
Continuation on the edge.
So now Radford needs a 4, and this is where it kind of changes the match. When you're talking about just 1 or 2, you can get a takedown, you can get Provisor out of position. To get a takedown and turn, or to get a 4 against Provisor, when you can see his core is massive. He's a fire hydrant, and that's kind of what, after that 2012 Olympics, he built his body up in a different way, went with core strength, back strength to kind of fix his body a little bit.
No idea how he made 74.
Yeah, I still don't know. Radford going.
Yeah, and that's the problem. You're not going to hit Provisor in big moves like that because he's so tight, he's so compact.
And Provisor with a little bit of an alpha dog move there, kind of staring at him, standing over him as we're down to the last 40 seconds. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's Dennis Hall protege.
Sure.
Hall, who made a little bit of a comeback at Senior Nationals, kind of left his shoes on the mat, wanted to say, okay, I'm done for real now. High dive attempt from Radford, though, has Provisor in the zone, but those short, choppy steps, Richard's been talking about the whole match, just calmly worked his way back out, and down to 15 here. Looks like Provisor is going to give the NYAC another champ. But Sunkist kids, man, you put Bay in the finals, put Radford in the finals, you put Hancock in the finals. Great tournament for them.
Yeah, you got to be happy.
So your 85-kilo Greco-Roman champion here, the 2017 Dave Schultz Memorial Wrestler in blue, Ben Provisor of the New York Athletic Club.